this is our first problem. The other second problem is the complexity of data. So the complexity, data are not cleaned, not structured, they don't have a meaning. So we need first to work with our colleagues first to discover what we want to publish, then to structure those data, then to find an owner of the data. In many cases, we don't have who is the owner of this data, who needs to give a permission for this data to be published. To get an approval of the department, of course, we want to publish this data. And this sometimes is a long process, and sometimes we even don't get an approval. So we come to this point that we have everything ready, but we don't get an approval to publish this. Of course, for data to be published in a real time, we need the programmers who will develop a program to data to be published, and so on. And also interpretation of the data. Data are published, but they don't have any meaning to maybe wider audience or the audience. And in general, people are not aware, especially some groups are not enough aware. So what we want to improve in our city, and that's why we really appreciate projects like Route to Pay. We learn from these projects, and it's very valuable for us to really hear other stories. So first of all, we want to improve our process. We want to get more resources to be able to run processes the way we want to. Then we want to improve quality of our data, to make to visualize the data, to improve metadata. Then we want more discussion about data and collaboration about data. We want to run new services based on those data. And we plan to involve citizens to collect the data on the ground for us. So we plan concrete actions. Very soon we will run e-consultations about data that people want to open. This is a standard process of e-consultations within the city. We want to raise awareness about open data, first of all, among city councillors. In many cases, city councillors discuss different topics, but their discussions are not based on concrete data. They are based on gossips, on something what they read in the newspaper, or we want to provide them concrete data so their discussions can be more argumentative. So we plan to organize some sessions with our city councillors. With the journalists that work in the city, they are not also aware of some data that they can use for the more quality articles that they write in the local newspaper. Sometimes this is just not based on the data. Their writing is not correct in many cases. We want to discuss with academia. We want to give academia data for research, for to employ students to run their projects, to run their maybe research work and something else. To the business sector, and for the community managers to improve their neighborhoods, to base decisions on the data. And also we want to we are looking for EU funding and funding to run our processes. So at the end, I would like to really thanks to the project to invite us to talk about our problems and our processes, and to learn from the project and from the experience that you actually get in the 3 years. So I am looking forward to read your guide and the best practices from the other communities. Thank you very much.
I problemi e le esperienze che Tatiana ci ha presentato credo siano comuni a tutte le città, a tutti gli enti che si stanno o che si sono gettati in questa attività di pubblicare gli open data. Io non parlerò della mia esperienza, che lascio per ultima, ma un paio di osservazioni però su questo intervento di Tatiana mi piace farlo, perché credo abbia posto l'accento su un punto importante. Molte delle nostre attività di pubblicazione di open data sono basate su un processo che è sbagliato, diciamo, non è assolutamente ottimale, cioè quello di andare a raccogliere i dati, lavorarci sopra, creare poi degli Excel, dei CSV e metterli nel portale open data. Mentre giustamente Tatiana dice che stanno facendo molti sforzi, e credo debba essere un obiettivo comune, per far sì che i dati vengano pubblicati in automatico dalle piattaforme informatiche che li producono. Su questo è un'esigenza che tutti abbiamo, però credo ci debba essere molto più impegno come funzionari che sviluppiamo ed acquistiamo soluzioni informatiche per le nostre amministrazioni, perché nei capitolati e nelle procedure di acquisto che facciamo richiediamo sempre più questo requisito ai prodotti che dobbiamo acquistare, perché sul mercato in questo momento i prodotti non sono dotati di questa possibilità, e se noi non lo chiediamo nelle nostre procedure d'acquisto il mercato non ci darà mai le soluzioni che ci servono. Questa è la prima osservazione. La seconda riguarda la discussione. Il motivo per cui come Prato siamo entrati nel progetto Route to PA è perché a noi è piaciuta proprio quest'idea base nel progetto di creare un blog nel quale la discussione avviene sui dati e non su fatti che non sono affatto oggettivi, no? Nella prima riunione del progetto, ricordo, sulla costiera amalfitana, avevamo coniato proprio un nuovo termine, dice invece che creare siti www, sarebbe carino se il nostro progetto facesse nascere un nuovo stile di siti nei quali invece la W viene sostituita alla DDD, Data Driven Discussion, cioè dovremmo creare dei blog dove ciò che discutiamo è basato su fatti provati da dati. Quindi ecco, il progetto su questo, il blog che ha creato è proprio fatto con questo obiettivo. Quindi non parlo però della mia esperienza, che lascio per ultima, mentre chiederei a Cristina Vasiliescu di parlarci di un'esperienza che credo lei conosca bene.
Another experience that she knows very well. It has been rather enthusiastic because we want to do something similar, that is the participatory budget. It is a special process of participation, but in Italy it's just experimental, so I would ask her to illustrate her experience. No. I want to introduce the experience of participatory experience of Milan, but under another point of view, because we are the representative of the administration, politicians, technicians. I am a researcher. So, as Institute for the Social Research of Milan, together with the Urban Adventure, with the support of some important association, the Arci, we have been chosen through a public call to support them in implementing the participatory budget of Milan. It was 2015, the first experience of municipality of Milan So there was a phase of project of the coal that was rather engaging by the municipality, because the image of what those projects were not immediate, also inside the public administration, and so they require a consensus inside the same administration at political and technical levels. So municipality took about nearly 1 year to give the call, and the project itself has been done in 6 months. It has been implemented in 2015 and has seen the participation of about 33,000 people from Milan. The process was open to anyone older than 14, and people that would work, would live in Milan. So people that were leaving the city every day. So 9 million euro have been used for the community for infrastructures project. So it has been required the participation of citizenship. There were 4 phases. First, listening to the requirements, and also the ideas and how to invest the money that we had. There have been organized some meeting by the facilitators, technical assistants in this case, in each area of the municipality, and about 45,000 meetings have been organized in less than 6 months. There's been a lot of support as the citizenship. The technical assistance has supplied a training for the citizens that wanted to promote a training and to supply their requirements. For that,
610 ideas were received for a project. Then they were refined during a phase of co-designing. A co-designing lab was organized, lasting 1 day, and the people, the citizens participating in the lab were selected by random during a public hearing on the base of some geographic and demographic features to represent all the types of population in the different 9 areas in Milan. During this phase of co-designing lab, some technicians from Milan municipalities were involved, as well as some political representatives. 40 projects were defined, and they were submitted to the vote of citizens through online platforms, but also through some assisted votations. 9 projects were funded. They had been selected by citizens, and some of the projects are still in progress. The project includes a monitoring phase, and also the response of citizens as to the implementation of the project selected. The experience is being repeated this year too, and it is very important because it is not a one-stop experience, but it is the experience that is repeated in time. Thank you. Thanks. Now, my experience. What was our experience within this Route to PA project? Like the other pilot cities, we defined the features of the platform during the first phases of the project, and we tried to comply with our needs. As a pilot site, we tried to experience this platform for some possible applications to understand which application was the best one. Also to have a feedback on the features of the platform itself. The first experience we made was an informal one. We opened a platform through communication and inviting people to be recorded, just letting them free to act, just to understand if the platform could be interesting for the population. Well, this phase was not very bad. It was not so negative indeed, because I thought that no one wanted to participate, but about 7,100 people really registered, and there was a school. This is not one of the formal projects, but there was a high school which decided to take part in the project because it is a technical school, and a teacher created a team of people who want to recover old computers to set up a museum. Since this experience is present in different parts of Italy, they use the platform to have a census of these museums that really were born in Italy, and they produced an interesting data set of these museums. Some people use the platform to ask us for the publication of the open data. So we had a requirement from an individual who asked us the data concerning all the trees in the city, but I didn't know that there was a database of 35,000 trees. So we published this data set, and a team of people was very happy. Other people asked us for some data important to set up a kind of intervention, civil interventions. Then we set up more organized pilots. The first one, successful one, was that by which the administration asked citizens where to install the new equipment of the Wi-Fi hotspot. In that case, too, we had more than 30 people who registered. They made the comments, they gave suggestions. About 30 hypotheses to install new hotspots were raised. So we are trying now to meet the requirements of the citizens. It is not an experience of a participatory budget, but in a certain way it is an example of the fact that by the platform we realized which were the needs of some citizens. Well, the third pilot is that is the more successful one, because it came to our minds the involvement of schools in building up data sets concerning our cultural heritage. Prato is a city with a presence of some votive niches, and a work had been carried out by a historian of art on the subject. This about 30 shrines had been listed. We proposed that thing to schools, and 3 of these schools asked to work on this subject. So the discussions in classrooms were organized. So we really awarded the prize to 2 of the schools. They created a data set of more than 150 shrines. We are asking them to continue to really, with their census, about 100 students were involved. And then the administration promised them to award a prize, to really allocate a fund to school. So we proposed a work, but the school itself really devised other applications for this platform. They asked us to continue to use the platform later on. Well, the last pilot was not a successful one. We thought to use the platform to get transparency on budget data. In that case, we did not, we failed. And so why? The situation is very complex. First of all, we could not find a great interest by the potential users of the platform on this kind of data. Not because they don't want to know the data of the budget, but because they are not easy to be interpreted. And citizens who had to interpret all these Excel sheets could not interpret them. So what is missing is a way that should be developed at a national level to give visibility of the budget in a synthetic way that can be understood by people. Because otherwise, any possibility to open this data would not be useful for citizens. On the other side, we found also political difficulties, because even if we had really an availability by politicians for this experiment, it was not easy to that. First of all, for some regulation difficulties, and the municipalities really are in a difficult situation. So the idea was to launch a phase of communication because the approval, also using the platform, but the municipality really is just facing technical problems. So it was difficult to make an experiment of this kind because the budget today, this year, is very difficult to be successful. So that's to mean that not always things work well. But this application, open data, maybe can be useful in the future. We have also some difficulties, both from the regulatory point of view, from the national point of view.
In trying to make available the data about on the contract. We have a regulation to publish every year to XM format which can be reused for comparing, etc. But those data are published by the municipality, but there is no place to download them. There are no tools to compare them. Also, upon this, there is a lot to work because publications of the data is even more important on the same budget, because budget is a very technical tool, but at the end is what the administration does. So at the end, the data will tell what there is, what the administration doesn't do if there are some mistakes. From those data, this is important. So it would be much more useful to have those data and to compare them. This, in summary, what we have done in Prato and the project Route to PA. I'm sure we can continue this platform because it has been very useful, and the experience will not be concluded here. I hand the floor to the Vice President for conclusions. More than conclusions, I have to express my thanking to all of you, together to our officers, employees, and leaders. You made this meeting not only useful, but precious. I would like to catch an aspect that I have underlined in my short introduction, the theme of information. Ms. Tatiana, is not only in your country that it happens that a piece of information is based upon gossip, that few journalists write things that are not true. It happens also in Italy, and this aspect, which is very important, will recall all of you to an effort. Because an information, if hasn't got quality, cannot be transparent. This must be an equation, because from one side we abuse about this term, transparency and legal aspect, and information does not follow this approach, well, it's useless. We are not coherent. So we reduce the effort of all of us, and at the end, we are the main character of the political world, the communication, that are really a great responsibility. So these moments are really very important. I do wish that we can meet again here just to sign a path forward, and I will conclude, and I thank you with all my heart of what has been done today. Transparency means, above all, a proper and correct information. Thank you.
Adesso dobbiamo premiare qualche ragazzo. Dove ci mettiamo? Davanti?
Davanti, sì.
Davanti, facciamo.
Has to be an award here.
Il comune di Nocera.
The municipality of Nocera Inferiore and the school of Avellino, Mancini, High School Mancini.
Sì, lì dove siete, prego. Sì, prego, potete passare. Allora, qui siamo con il liceo, giusto? No. Ah, il comune? Comune? Il comune di Nocera? Ok.
Municipality of Nocera.
Adesso invece, ecco qui, è la volta del liceo Mancini.
Grazie, buonasera a tutti.
Grazie.
Buonasera, buonasera.